Good morning, Malta and Gozo, and welcome to another edition of Lovin Daily. I'm your host, Jonathan Cilia. Today I'm joined by Julian Bonici. It was another massive sunny weekend in Malta. I hope you had a great weekend. Let's just jump right into the stories. First up, we have a cowboy contractor and his PN local councillor mother who are facing a civil suit over unfinished works. A Somalian man was beaten and thrown into the sea in Gozo in front of a cheering crowd. An associate of Rosianne CUTAJAR's claims of an ex-GRATIA payment in the controversial FENECH deal raises eyebrows. Malta has been put back on the EU's travel red list after the recent spike in COVID-19 cases, and SAMMUT NURMINEN completes an impressive 110-kilometer three-lap auto run across Malta. Now definitely stay tuned to the end of today's episode. We've got a very special guest in the house today. Artist Owen Leuellen is here to talk to us about his new album. But before we get into that, Julian, the first story?
Yeah, so it's a Lovin Malta exclusive published this morning. It's all about how a cowboy turnkey contractor and his local councillor mother are facing an €85,000 civil suit and a call for criminal action over their failure to deliver promises to work on a project on a house. So Kurt Gallia-Pace and Vivian Gallia-Pace, the former being a slim PN local councillor, are facing claims that they took almost €140,000 on promises to renovate a property and simply failed to deliver. The claimant, Matthew Dale Love, actually wrote an affidavit, and Lovin Malta has seen this affidavit. He's also calling for the Financial Crimes Investigations Department to investigate the pair for fraud and other economic crimes. So Love, in his affidavit, detailed how he first met Kurt Gallia-Pace in May 2013. He initially reached out to Gallia-Pace because he lived and worked abroad, and he did a local contact, to oversee the development. At first, everything seemed great, right? Some works were being done on time, and Love had so much faith in Gallia-Pace that he quickly passed on a €70,000 sum to Gallia-Pace for the works and any future works. Quickly that changed. Gallia-Pace would always make requests for new projects, new issues inside the building, and continued spiraling costs. However, on each occasion, he continuously failed to deliver. Now, he continued straggling Love along very easily, right? Every time something new came up, he would tell him, listen, this €5,000 is absolutely essential for the workers to be finished, or the workers will leave on site. And Love, against his best judgment, he admits, continued passing him money. Most of the money was transferred through Western Union, which was already quite shaky, and to accounts directly owned by Vivian Gallia-Pace. And the issue kept on rolling on until October 2015, when the permit was approved. Suddenly works ground to a halt, and the same pattern emerged. He would call Kurt Gallia-Pace, Gallia-Pace would make promises, then would delay, sudden radio silence, and then the whole issue starts again. The issue finally completely went to an end in 2018, and now Love is pursuing legal charges almost 2 years later. Since the start of the project, remember April 2013, since April 2013, Love has spent $26,000 on rent. He's now being forced to move out of his apartment into a shared living space, into one room. And worst of it all, as Love says, this project was all his life savings and designed specifically to cater for his son with learning disabilities. A really shocking story. Let's hope action is taken.
What's really crazy here is that the turnkey contractor himself, he's been active for years. This is not his first merry-go-round. This is not the first time he's appeared. He's been involved in a number of projects, and no action has yet to be taken against him. So, since we published this story, a number of people have already reached out to us with their own personal stories. So if you've been affected, by him or something similar, another contractor in a similar manner, do reach out to us. We're very interested in covering this kind of stories. Reach out to us at hello@lovinmalta.com. Send us an email and we'll get back to you. Moving on to the next story, quite a crazy story coming out from Gozo over the weekend. A Somalian man was apparently beaten up and thrown into the sea in front of a cheering crowd. So this happened in the Imjar Harbor area. There was a bar there on Friday night, and people were out about having a good time, and apparently this Somalian man showed up. We're not exactly sure what happened, but next thing we knew, a guy stood up, moved a dustbin out of the way, moved a table out of the way, and punched him into the sea. People started clapping and cheering. Apparently on the way down, the man hit his head on a boat. People were very worried if he was going to, could he swim? Was he going to drown? He dragged himself out of the sea. He was feeling obviously embarrassed, humiliated, and he was just left asking, why did you do this to me? We reached out to the police, who confirmed that an incident did happen around 1 a.m., but they don't really know what led up to the fight, neither do we, but shocking stuff, imagine just someone being punched into the sea and people just clapping and cheering for it.
Yeah, no, it's really horrible. There are quite a lot of differing claims on the story itself. We've had reports that potentially a group of men were beating the man up rather than one or two. We're still trying to get to the bottom of this. Police aren't really sure, so much so that they seem to be pursuing a case against both the alleged victim, the Somalian, and the alleged aggressor. So we'll see what's going to happen. That obviously social media was inundated with comments, admonishing the incident, admonishing the attack. Obviously, we'll keep you updated if there are any developments over there. On to our next story, back to the ROSIANNE CUTAJAR YORGEN FENECH issue. Charles Ittika Farrugia seems to be willing to take the fall for the 2019 Mdina property deal, trying to pass off the brokerage fee he probably earned as an ex-gratia payment. So on 12th July, he wrote to the speaker, saying, listen, he's going to cover all the issues on the brokerage fee. He made it all himself, but kept on insisting it was an ex-gratia payment. Now, for those of you who don't know, an ex-gratia payment is a voluntary payment you give to someone. It's usually used in very extreme circumstances. Let's say, I don't know, for example, you help a sibling out or something, and he passes on you some money, for helping out with that deal. That's an ex-gratia payment. Lovin Malta spoke to several tax lawyers and tax experts over the issue, and most of them raised their eyebrows at the claims itself, with one of them simply saying that it's an ex-gratia payment does not make it so. In fact, evidence seems to suggest that it wasn't. Farrugia himself even told the Standards Commissioner that he worked throughout the deal from start to finish, that he was there for the signing. There are messages and other communication totally indicating that he was a broker and it was a brokerage fee, but now he's claiming an ex-gratia payment. Make of that what you will. I'm sure the tax authorities will be looking into it, and Farrugia could land into very hot water. In total, the brokerage fee paid out was 124,000 euros. That was 93,000 euros from the seller and 31,000 euros from FENECH. Now, the deal obviously fell through once FENECH was arrested for the murder of Daphne Caruana Galizia. However, this issue has continued with the man chasing the money. COUTAJAR has confirmed that she did pass on the 31,000 euros in cash handed to her to FENECH, but said she gave that money strictly to Farrugia, and a 9,000 euro gift YORGEN FENECH gave her above that was simply for her birthday and out of goodwill. Make of this what you will. I'm sure we haven't heard the last of it. There's a standards committee meeting going on, at the moment, at present. I don't know, John, quite some shaky claims.
When you start talking about tens of thousands of euros being given as a gift, is it your birthday, is it Christmas, we're just giving lots and lots of money, sometimes reaching over hundreds of thousands. It does raise a lot of questions. Now it's very important to remember that both COUTAJAR and Farrugia are still under investigation by tax authorities. Until this day, COUTAJAR insists that there is no wrongdoings and no misgivings in these deals. So we'll just have to wait another week for the next small development in this. Moving on to the next story, and this is quite concerning for some people. Malta has been put back on the European Union's red travel list. This comes as Malta is experiencing a surge in COVID-19 cases over the last few weeks. Now, what's important to remember is that this list serves as a guide to countries, so it's not like you cannot travel to Malta or you can't leave Malta at all. It's more a guide by the European Union to governments of countries to say, listen, be aware of what's happening on this land, be aware of what's happening on this nation. But this comes as Malta has unfortunately seen a massive spike in cases. We now have 1,932 active cases. Just yesterday, 195 new cases were found. This comes after a few days of over 200 cases per day, so a little bit worrying right here.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I'm sure the news is probably very worrying, particularly for people who work in the tourism industry, hospitality industry, already struggling to make ends meet. A good indication, at least, is that this list has been out actually since Thursday. So there hasn't been any movement since then. Lovin Malta is reaching out to the ministries to see if there have been any changes on that front. In other news, Lovin Malta has been covering, almost a bureaucratic nightmare caused by these restrictions, with people either stranded in Malta or stranded outside of Malta, unable to get in because of, you know, some issues with their dates, traveling, you know, it's all creating a massive confusion. You know, we'll see how it's going to develop. Unfortunately, COVID, despite our vaccine, still remains quite uncertain, and I don't know, the government seems to be scrambling to find answers. On to our last story, a really amazing story. Steve SAMMUT, NURMINEN, completed his 110-kilometer 3-lap run around in Malta. It was a really impressive feat. He completed it on Sunday morning. Lovin Malta has published a series of images and videos showing Steve on his really incredible run. Basically, what he did was he started from Jukowa, went back down to Birza Buja, and kept on doing that lap, you know, 3 times. It's a crazy run. I mean, I had trouble walking up the stairs to work this morning, so I can't even imagine doing a run like that. Really another impressive feat, right, John, in Malta?
It's really nuts. You know, Malta summer's hit. Usually when summer hits, I'm like, okay, where's the AC, where are the fans at? But we've had a swath of endurance athletes doing impressive feats. Obviously, apart from Steve, there was Neela Juice, you know, a few weeks back, who swam across the Mediterranean to break a world record. It wasn't just him. We had Jake Vella, the 12-year-old boy who battles Rohad net syndrome, which forces him to be obese his entire life. He swam 100 kilometers. You know, a week after that, we had 3 athletes led by Karen Amato who kayaked from Malta to Sicily nonstop for 18 hours. It's really impressive what's happening in Malta right now. You've got all these athletes who are out there, and all of them doing it for a good cause, who's raising funds for abandoned animals, who's trying to fight obesity. So, you know, all the athletes out there doing these things, from Steve to the rest, you know, everyone at Lovin Malta, massive respect to you guys. Hats off, keep up the good work. That brings us to the end of today's episode. We're going to cut to a quick video, and when we're back, we'll be having Owen Leuellen in the office to talk to us about his new album.
In Malta, we don't say.
So here we are back on Lovin Daily. Today we've got Owen Leuellen in the house with us. Thanks so much for coming in this morning.
It's a pleasure, it's a pleasure.
So I think last time I saw you, we were actually on stage together performing a little bit. So it's really good to have you in the office today to talk about your new album, Dreams.
Yes, finally, yeah.
Finally. So is it out? Is it coming out this week?
No, it's been out for 5 days. On the 15th, if I'm not mistaken, was the release date. But it's been a long while to release. As you might know, we mentioned last time we met on a gig. I had to release this in 2020, along with the music video as well, the Runaway, which is my latest release as well. So it's been a while waiting and holding these in, but finally they're out. So
the album name is Dreams.
Yeah.
You know, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot, man. It's basically the foundation of my career. All of this, all of what I do, was basically started off from dreams. So it's been a while, and all the stories that I've been through, I've stacked them into an album. I talk about mostly stories that I've been through, some stuff from the past and stuff, you know. But then at the end project, it became a little too dark, so I had to brighten up the project a bit with a few modern tracks, like Runaway, my latest release. There's gonna be another release really soon, so stay tuned, and it's one of the bright ones as well, and the name is Follow. And there are another couple tracks as well, like The Real Thing, to brighten up, you know, to balance it out from the darkness.
So I actually wanted to talk about that, because some of your earlier songs, like My Time, for example, had a bit of a darker beat. The lyrics are quite, you know, determined and driven.
Yeah.
That was because you were still breaking out, you know. So why did you have so much kind of darker energy prior to now, and now, you know, you've got some more summer vibes, some more lighter vibes?
Well, the thing is, like, I was driven to start writing music just by going through some stuff, you know, that's hard, and you know, using music as an outlet for the anger and the rage. And you know, as you said, I was driven. I was super like, you can say I was angry on my tracks because I was like hitting them hard. But then, you know, I came to a point where I wasn't so mad and so sad about this stuff. So I had to do something brighter, something more colorful, you know. So that's when I said, I have to write something like fun, something maybe for summer. And in fact, weird fact is that this track, Runaway, had to be released last summer. So COVID.
So talking about Runaway, you know, very different style, very cool video as well. What's the reaction been to Runaway?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. Like, people probably didn't expect that side of me to come out, because like what I've shown till now was like harder and, you know, more underground kind of style. But that was not actually the style I'm looking to promote, you know. This is me, and I do myself different than others, and I try to keep it also very versatile. You can see by the track list, you know, it's quite versatile. And the reaction on Runaway was pretty good and surprising for some people as well, because like that's a different style. But I love it, man, and I'm ready to do some more stuff like that. So, and even the second one that's coming out right now, like very, very soon, is gonna be kind of the same vibes, but Runaway is more summerish, but you still get that colorful summer vibe, you know, positive vibe.
Now, when it comes to performances, obviously right now, COVID-19, as we were just saying, is surging. So I'm not really sure how you can be holding a performance, but do you have anything planned as far as performing your music live?
There is a plan, like one of my release plans is after some promotion for the album, we're looking to make an album release, gig for maybe some tickets and stuff. So not sure exactly when, but there's gonna be this, and we had a lot of plans for summer, but as you said, COVID messed up a little too many things. So we just got to keep it moving and keep our heads straight, you know. But the plan is to make an album release concert or something like that.
Very cool. So talking about, you know, the Maltese rap scene right now, there's actually quite a few rappers coming up. I know recently, to talk about a subject that was quite hot in the news, Lopez released a bunch of diss tracks. He mentioned quite a lot of people. What do you make of diss tracks? What do you make of Lopez's diss tracks?
You know, I just respect Lopez so much, man. He's good at what he does. He's an OG in Malta, so I used to listen to his music before I put anything out. So, and later on, we got to meet up. We became friends. So
you have a track together, right?
Yeah, we have a track together on his album. You should go check that out too.
You rapped in Maltese, something you don't regularly do. What was that like, rapping in Maltese?
I feel more comfortable doing it in English and stuff, but you know, trying to stick to the roots. I gave it my best shot with one of the best rappers in Maltese, so you know, you have to keep up the skill as well. So skill-wise, I had no worries, but doing it in Maltese was kind of my issue, but ended up being really good and really hard. You know, the Maltese language can be really hard, and it went pretty well, man. And even we did that on a performance before it came out. I believe it was Notte Bianca, if I'm not mistaken. Thousands of people, and we rocked the stage, man. It went really good, got some great feedback. And back to Lopez, man, he's a legend in this stuff. And when he comes up with a track that's out of his comfort zone, it's different and it's nice, you know. But when he sticks to his roots, it's fire, boom, that's right. And everyone's face is like, that's hip hop, man.
There was lots of reactions to the disses.
Yeah.
What did you make of that?
To be honest, like for artists, when there's reactions, there's gonna be good ones, there's gonna be bad ones. So it doesn't really matter what they say. It's not gonna like break you down or something. It's just people talk stuff, you know. So it just helps the wave, to be honest, in my opinion. I don't know about you, Lapis.
So rounding off this interview, so what's the next step for Owen Leuellen? So you've got the next single coming up, right? Follow.
Yes. Next single coming up, Follow, with a music video as well. And even on a later stage, I have another music video coming out for the track that's on the album Dreams. And it's Dear God featuring Luke Chappell, so stay tuned for that. People gave me some good feedback as well on that song just from the album, so there's going to be a video to it as well, so stay tuned. And after the phase of the album, you know, there are many other projects in works right now, I have something planned for the end of the year, hopefully. So let's not put out any dates, but there are much more material coming out and a lot of projects in mind and something even bigger after that. So
nice. That sounds super exciting. Owen, thanks so much for coming in. Everyone at Lovin Malta, we're definitely going to be following your story. Guys, if you want to check him out, definitely follow him on Facebook, on Instagram. Are you on TikTok yet?
Yeah, I just did it recently.
So follow him on TikTok as well. Thanks for coming in, Owen.
Pleasure.
I think that brings us to the end of today's episode. Have a day full of lovin'.